What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Vibes, presented by Vigilant Videography. I'm your host, Ethan Weiner, and who do we got with us today?
What's up? It's your boy Danny. I'm more formally known by Decon, and so hello. I'm so glad to be back.
So for those watching, if you guys remember, he started this series. So he was the first guest I ever had before we were even in the studio. We started
Brought my
off
ugly ass back.
we were just starting off like doing a little convo, and you're back for a full interview here.
Dude,
so
I'm super excited.
thanks
It's like a definitely huge upgrade. I
No, for
love
sure.
all
It
the
is.
artists that you've been putting on here.
Yeah,
Like
no, for
I've
sure.
shown all the love to all the locals, so I love it.
No. Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the local word about everyone on here, and then the idea is, people see you on here, and some other people I worked with reach out to you, be like, "Hey, bro, I see you do this shit." And all
Dude, there's a couple of like your media and your content. There's also Only Kings. I like Only Kings.
Only
and
Kings are killing it. Yeah.
I like Producer's Pit. There's also one, I think K9 is doing it a little bit good.
K9 Multimedia?
Yeah, K9 has been bringing some pretty good people into and having conversations with not only like artists, but like just like creatives and like just influencers. Like they've been doing good.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Well, that's what I started an artist, and I've kind of been trying to break into like you said, like you should include everyone. Like I had some actors on here. I had like an influencer, and then so I've had some people.
Did you bring on Santi over here?
I did bring on Santi.
Dude,
Santi was killing it. He shouted you out too. He shouted your company.
I freaking love him and his boys. They show up to all the shows that we do. I remember we sold out the El Rey with our October event, and then we ordered pizza, and it was supposed to go to like, I sent like the driver and everything, gave him a code and everything, and to go to the back of the venue, because the whole entire venue was like packed with like 1,300 people, and there was still like 500 people outside that the venue was like kicking out. And what ended up happening was Santi didn't go through my front door. He made eye contact with me at the front door, and the security was trying to like push him away. He goes to the back of the venue, takes all the pizza, and then goes back all the way to the front of the venue and is holding it up in front of security. And then he's like, "Let us through." And they just let him straight through. And I was like, "What the hell?"
So he's like delivering the
pizza? No. He just stole all my
genius.
pizza. He just ran right through the venue with it.
That's funny.
So
you're like, "Hey, wait, is that mine?"
I think he was like giving it out to people. I was like, bro, I was like
funny.
so frustrated. I was like, because we were all hungry.
Yeah, you're like, dude, I'm fucking starving right now.
Yeah, no, he took it all.
That's it. No, he's been killing. He's in like, I'm pretty sure he was in LA. I don't know if he's still out there, but he's been like doing a little tour with a bunch of different like.
He just got done with Bradley Martin. I think today he just dropped a video with Vitaly.
Yeah. Or he dropped that like last. I think he's dropping the snippets. He dropped.
He's doing a bunch of stuff. He's like, dude, that kid and his content over here is something very different, because we just don't. People like you and me, there isn't enough going on over here, so we're kind of not. I don't want to say that we're like taking over, but we're setting a standard with how like a lot of the content and a lot of the media and a lot of the entertainment is going, at least for the next few months, if not for the next few years, because there's just such a void over here. And we're obviously bringing in bigger events. We're seeing some of the other event companies and some of the other artists like doing bigger and better, but that's because like we just have like a bigger like need for it, and so a lot of the demographic here is just consuming everything and anything that we're putting out, and
it's like, building the foundation of that. It's like everyone, and that's the thing, everyone's connecting with that. So
everybody's been doing good. The last time I saw something like this, I saw this like 9 years ago in Utah, in Provo, Utah, and Provo, Utah already has like a lot of like the religious like culture over there with like Mormons and stuff like that. And there's 2 universities right next to each other, that is UVU and BYU. And that's where like the birthplace of this venue, where it's called Velour, where a lot of really famous bands and a lot of really famous like artists have come out of, like Neon Trees, Imagine Dragons, David Archuleta, artists like Cascade, Panic at the Disco, I think is from there. And so like a lot of these artists like blew up from a lot of the culture of just like all these college kids and that demographic just like being huddled. And ever since then, there's been a huge like movement of like artists and resources just flooding in Salt Lake City and Provo, and I think like even St. George. And what's been happening is I've been seeing that same type of like momentum coming here. And when I came here in COVID, a lot of these resources started like kind of like dwindling out everywhere, because the local businesses dying off. All the local businesses and all the bigger people came in and just started bringing in a lot of just potential and like resources into those areas. And so
For
that's
sure.
what I'm seeing over here, and it's like not stopping, so I like it. But at the same time, there's a lot of different things that come with it.
It comes good and bad.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. If you try to control that a little bit and you just try to get in there, like market yourself with a bunch of people, then you're good. You're good to go. So So tell me a little bit more about you, what you do to remind, like, we went into it a little bit last time.
Yeah.
But remind your, your title, your
I'll remind
repertoire.
everybody. So I go by the name Decon. I'm a music artist. I've worked with some of the biggest music artists in the world, such as like Kanye. I used to help manage. I used to help do operations and facilitation of information and funding for a lot of really big festivals. I've had a hand of working with over 300 different types of music artists, from Dolly Parton all the way down to like Lil Wayne. I'm kind of like all over the place. For the longest amount of time, when I was working with groups like Live Nation and iHeartRadio, I was mostly working with one of the two labels that the music industry has. The one side of it is distribution, and that's where you get all your music, all your stuff, all your views, and all that. I dealt with the live performance aspect of it, which is like the festivals, the tours, the appearances, like the experience
all
itself.
The exciting shit.
And so basically I took all of my knowledge on that and all of my resources with like sleeping on couches of like all these like famous people and like working with all these like celebrities, and I kind of ran away with all those resources, and I got in big trouble because of that. But I ended up becoming a music artist from that, and just calling up anybody that I wanted to be able to kind of just experience how hard it is to be a music artist, what it takes. And I kind of gypped the system a little bit because I already knew everybody at the commercial level, and so they were like, oh, it's Danny, it's like our little brother, like, yeah, sure, go up on stage, or like go get like 30 minutes at like this festival that's like right next to Lollapalooza and Bonnaroo and all these like different places, Rolling Loud. And basically during COVID, I came over here and I realized that there's just such a void of like resources for all of the amazing talent out here. I'll say it, like, I'm nowhere near compared to the amount of talent that's out here and how just amazing they are and the type of content, what they do. So I kind of pivoted a little bit. Instead of doing music, I kind of took a pause on that and started building events. And I started calling all my friends. For example, we called some of the people at Monster Energy, and they kind of helped us out, kind of jump starting this area with giving us a little bit of money to kind of throw like these like parties all over the city. And we rented out like 5 venues and just started throwing parties here, there, and everywhere. And you guys were like, were like the first group that helped us out with that. And
we were like, party, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, no, but we were selling out. We started off with like 100 people, and now we're like selling out every venue that we touch.
Dude, it's became like just seeing also, like, I know we were like involved in that first, but then seeing you just like take off and run with it, and seeing like, because a
lot of people are confused. They think that I perform at those. I don't perform at my own events. Like I put on
you set it up.
Other rappers. Like most recently, we just like, I found a couple rappers through you and your platform, and through some of the other people that put on local artists. Like, for example, I absolutely love Cali Soul. I love there's this kid named XJ.
Dude,
There's another one. I don't know if it's Xavier or Javier. Xavier. I found him. I don't know.
He was on the show. Yeah, he was on the show. He's fire.
I absolutely love him. I absolutely love. There's just like so many of them out here that are just like really good, and those are just like the rappers.
Yeah.
We just most recently did. I have this like policy with like all these like artists where all of my equipment, I have flame cannons, moving heads, like staging, lighting, sound. I have everything. And so if they want to use that for free, they can. But they have to invest in a venue. So I will make you look like a rock star, like bigger than anything else, and do all the promotion. I'll use the platforms that we've built with like the thousands and thousands of people that come out to our sold out shows, and I'll pivot that towards your marketing and all your stuff. But you have to show like, because there's so many artists out here that are like, oh, well, just like give me. And it's I've made the huge mistake because I'm like trying to help out everybody all the time, where like I'll give some of my resources to these kids, and then they'll just let it flop, or they won't do anything with it, or they don't know how to. And so that's another big problem too, is that a lot of artists get mad because they think that they're like, oh, the industry is like gatekeeping. And it's like, well, you don't know anything about how the industry works. And so like a lot of people are like, oh, well, like I can be like the next Lil Wayne. And I was like, okay, well, the problem is that Lil Wayne doesn't know how the industry like fully like mechanically like works. He doesn't do all the promotion and all the marketing and does all the distribution and does all the aggregating and does all the communications.
You gotta do that by yourself.
He has 80 managers. All these artists that are like at the level of like Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, like all these people, I was one of the 80 managers that would facilitate a lot of these operations and a lot of these things for a lot of the big people in the industry. And over here, these artists are trying to do A, B, C, and X, Y, and Z all through that by themselves, and then they get frustrated and they're like, oh, the system doesn't work, and like this area sucks, I have to go to LA. And I'm like, no, why are you going to it? Why are you, no, I see so many people go to like Nashville or like Miami or like go to like Austin, Texas, or Vegas, or like some of the like the big music capitals in America, when they have so much right already in front of them with the colleges that are here. There's 25 to 45,000 students per semester that are completely untapped.
That's
that a
nobody fan base right there.
Yeah, nobody talks to them, does anything. Me and my wife have gone to like 8 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, knocking door to door at all the dorms and then giving a flyer to all of these kids. And then the very next weekend, we'll see thousands of those kids that are like, hey, you told me that there was going to be a party here. We're here for the party. And thousands of them show up. And we did this with my favorite thing that I just most recently saw is a music artist by the name of Pocket Elephant. He's over here. His name is Pablo. Such a sweetheart, amazing talent. He's performed at some of the festivals here in New Mexico, such as like Fiestas, UNM. All the kids love him. That guy does not like tap in with those kids, but all of those kids automatically like beg him to always be on all the shows at UNM. And I'm like, it's that type of thing where it's like it's a bridge of communication, and it's kind of like the music artist is too focused on like the branding and the content, and it's already a lot. And that's why I'm trying to like build something with our company that we have, which is like Riot Entertainment, where we're basically going to do that for you, where all you have to do is you just DM us, let us know what you want. I have kids that are just like, hey, I have a couple of songs that I want to perform. I'm like, send them to me. Let me pick which ones are the best ones, and then come perform those. And even though like the audience there is just there to party, they're not like really fans of these like artists, they get to be able to be on a stage in front of 1,000 people, and then they can get media and photos and videos of them in front of people, and then they can be able to take like 1 or 2, maybe even like 4 or 5 moments from several of these shows and put together a resume that is like a EPK, like an electronic press kit. And they can be able to send that off to a label or send that off to a festival, and that is how they get booked. And a lot of these kids and a lot of these resources that are here that are trying to break into the talent like highway and trying to be like booked for shows and stuff like that, they don't know how that works. And as somebody that's been in the industry, I did it reverse. Instead of making music and then going to the top, I started at the top and then I made music, and then I was like, oh,
so you already
crap.
knew all the ins and outs and like what you're already going against.
And so that's my goal, is to be able to provide a little bit more. Oh shoot! Okay. Well, I'll make the announcement. Basically,
big announcement coming up.
We're kind of not moving on from Riot Entertainment from what it is right now. We're building a festival. We're building something bigger, and we're having a lot of sponsors jump in.
With a bunch of artists and stuff.
Well, not even with a bunch of artists. We probably will start off with maybe like 3 artists at first with our festival. People are having a large demand for more bigger commercial events to come down here, and I'm friends with people like Danny Bateman, who was like one of the 4 horsemen that started Warped Tour, or like Mike Zemer, who runs like the 8 music festivals that he has his hands on right now with like Third String Productions, or like So What Music Festival, or like some of the stuff that he's been doing with like all these like underground rappers. Like he's like, Austin, Texas is like blowing up with like people like Jaleel and like all these like different like artists, because he's bringing them out of the woodwork, and he does like all these like huge punk festivals. Or I've been talking to another female by the name of Kalika. I forgot her last name, but Kalika runs everything for Blackout Artists and for like Zook nightclub like over in like Vegas. And so all of these professionals that are in the industry I've been like consulting with and trying to bring the resources that they're sharing information with me down here into Albuquerque, so we can be able to build something bigger.
So you want to do this in this festival in Albuquerque?
Well, I was part of a music festival here that was called Somos, and Somos now mostly does EDM, and there's nothing wrong with that. Electronic music is
That's
like
a big
what
scene here. Yeah, it's a big scene.
Albuquerque's the biggest city right now on the come up for being known as like the most underground place for bass music.
Yeah.
So we're having artists like Twos. I just spoke with him last night. Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. Blood Vision. We have artists like Arceus, Galaxy, Wyatt Lawson, like all of the, even house artists like Atmos and like Burn the Disco, like all of these artists over here are blowing up, performing with a lot of these other artists that are coming through and touring. And legitimately, it's like they're so talented, but that's what's in demand right now.
Yeah.
And it's creating this void of like, where's all the hip hop? Like, I remember when like Young Gravy and like ASAP Ferg and all these like people were performing and touring through a lot of these like smaller venues like the Sunshine Theater or like El Rey. And I'm so glad that it's so funny because like all the event coordinators here are all named Danny. So like there's another Danny. Danny runs I forgot his last name, but he runs Revel.
Yeah.
And thank goodness he's done that because it's bridged the gap with a lot of artists that are like smaller. That first of all, it's hard as hell to sell 300 tickets to a show.
Yeah.
So imagine trying to sell 1,000 tickets, and that's what Sunshine Theater and El Rey is for. Yeah. So I believe
you got to know
like,
the venue too. You got to know the crowd of what is going to go to the venue.
Oh yeah,
that's
no.
why,
and thank goodness it's like down the street from like UNM because we could be able to easily pull that demographic all the way down. But what we've been noticing is that I don't see any local artists over here selling tickets. Yeah. And so what we're trying to do is, it takes a little bit, but we're trying to jumpstart the momentum with starting off with a party and then having the artists perform at the party.
So you're kind of making the festival a little bit for these artists.
Yeah.
And then that way they can also promote it and get their fan base involved in this as well.
Spring Break is not music festivals. They're party festivals.
Right.
There's several different categories of a lot of these like events and these experiences that are going around. For example, I absolutely love how within the last 5 years, COVID restarted everything. And
for sure.
Basically, we had a huge demand for artists, and then we realized we're like, these artists are costing like $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 to even start the negotiations, and nobody has that kind of money, especially if you don't have like the connections with a lot of these sponsors or endorsements. And so basically a lot of these other event coordinators that are like, we don't have the money to bring in artists, why don't we just throw a themed event? And that's how you see groups like Shrek Rave going around the country. They're or like the reggaeton festivals that are going around where, or like there's another one that's coming to Albuquerque, I forgot the all girls party, Sorry Papi or something like that.
Yes,
so you're seeing these parties taking over these artists.
It's becoming a new scene.
And you're seeing these artists like doing pop-ups, like for example like Emo Night. I love Emo Night because they're throwing a lot of like that
the sunshine.
They're throwing they're throwing like a party that's like a throwback of like all the old music, that all the punk stuff, but then they're having like a famous artist doing like a pop-up or like DJing that event or something like that. So they'll have like Machine Gun Kelly like come up and like do like a couple songs and then he'll like step off and he'll like host. So it's like
if they have MGK and that shit.
Well, they've been doing that. They've been having like artists from different bands come through and like host the event. And then you'll see like other groups like Brownies and Lemonade that come in and they just do like pop-ups in like underground warehouses or in like parking lots that are underground or like they'll do it in like obscure locations. And they'll bring all their lighting and all their sound, and it's just meant to be like more intimate. And the biggest problem that I'm seeing right now is that there's nothing wrong with trying to make more money and trying to go all big, but in the process of going all big, you're shooting so much for the stars that you're missing your mark. And a lot of these artists are not even able to sell out 100 tickets. So they're trying to...
So they go too big for the crowd that they can get.
Yeah, well, they're trying to, like, I see, I'm not going to name any names, but I see a lot of collectives, I see a lot of groups trying to all pan together and be like, well, I sell 5 tickets, I sell 10 tickets, well, I sell 20 tickets. And then all of them together, they can possibly sell maybe like 60 to 100 tickets, but nobody's even doing that anymore over here. They've given up. And they'll be like, well, enough with this, I'll just go to Nashville or I'll go to like somewhere else. And
do you think it's also, it has effect like because of the crowd here too? Like, do you think that not enough people are going to go?
You have seen our crowd.
Tickets?
You filmed all of our crowds.
Yeah, true.
So we have my crowd is.
Do you think more people are going to start? Like, do you think more people go to parties for the party rather than artists?
People are more willing to pay $10, $20, $30 for a party than they are for $2 for a local music artist. I have this amazing, talented artist that I've been talking with named Jandro. And Jandro has done a lot of amazing things, not only in the state of New Mexico, but all over the country, where he's performed and has been like opening up with like on tours for like Lil Wayne. He's done stuff with Chance the Rapper. He has music videos and a bunch of stuff with like Snow the Product. This guy is like so talented, but the demand of like New Mexico has shifted. And so now instead of doing like full on concerts, he's having to go a lot more aggressive and drop full albums and stuff like that in order to be able to get like a lot of that momentum and attention. And he's killing it. He's always been killing it. But this, obviously COVID has again done a reset on a lot of the stuff that we've been trying to do, especially what the standard used to be or what it used to be for the music industry. It's all changed. And so now we have to adapt with it. Everything is also social media now.
Right.
So like you have to like, nobody, I don't see enough artists.
And it's how you advertise yourself. It's like building a brand. Yeah.
My friend in Utah, named Kwaku, he runs, well, we are here in New Mexico, which is Riot Entertainment. He is over in Utah called Young and Dumb. And over there, he can't do an event without selling 4,000 tickets. He's just a huge like party like group, and he's done this. The only reason why I do not call him or consider him like a commercial event coordinator is because with a lot of the commercial like events, you're bringing in like a lot of like big industries that are tied with Live Nation and bringing in like millions of dollars with all this stuff. He's been completely independent the whole entire from start to like he's now doing music festivals too and jumping in everywhere. I'm gonna bring him down here. We're basically like doing a lot of stuff, and he's been one of the biggest people that's been advocating for like you need to advertise and put a little bit of money in your Instagram like promo and in your TikTok promo, because everybody's on TikTok. That's where a lot of the demand is now, where everybody's just like, when I'm going to bed, I spend like an hour just like on TikTok right before I go to bed, and it's like, it's not going to hurt to put like $5-10 into your like promo if you're dropping a song on TikTok, because we have millions of kids over here. I've done a little bit of money investments into some of the promotions that we do for our events and some of the stuff that we want to bring people's attention to, and it blows up every single time with thousands upon thousands of views. And it's only like $5, $10, $20 into the
But it's worth the promotion, because it's like, you know,
it's like the small stuff like that.
Yourself,
I would never in a million years would suspect that with $5 a promo, I would get like hundreds of thousands of views with just advertising our events in this market. But
and also just at least a couple new like authentic fans and authentic people following you. That's all you need. And then
I'm super excited for this next event that we're doing, because it's like, it's a themed one, but it's just for the girls. Well, like guys can come too, but it's like mostly
there were
catered.
questions about that.
It's mostly catered towards like the girls, because like every girl that's coming through our door is like getting a little gift. So a lot of momentum has been being built.
So the guys just don't get shit.
Well, no, you get to get a couple numbers, okay, if you come through. But like, here's the thing: with that one, no money has been invested into that event for promotion. It's getting more numbers, more shares, more saves, more comments, more likes, more everything than when we sold out 1,300 tickets for Launchpad. And so, I'm sorry, for El Rey.
So you're not sold out yet, but you're getting more.
We're about to sell out, and and the problem is like,
is it bigger? It's not bigger than that. Though,
it's not bigger than El Rey. El Rey holds like 1,300 people.
Yeah, it was El Rey.
This venue is Launchpad, the little brother next door, which only holds like maybe like 300 people. And so I'm like, what's gonna happen if we like completely sell out online? And we'll hold like 50 to 80 tickets at the door. So if like,
once you see it's actually how crammed it is,
dude,
it's like
the lines always wrap down the street and everything, and it's like, we're very blessed, and I'm happy because like we've worked very hard for this, and I've taken a lot of the knowledge that I've had from like the commercial side of the music industry, working with celebrities, and adjusting it in just a different category, and it's been benefiting us, but not only us, but like everybody around here. Like these
Right.
college kids are no longer like renting out Airbnbs and
Yeah, I mean
getting
it's
shot.
a good thing. That's
like,
I mean,
like
you're doing a really good thing honestly with that, because
Yeah.
people don't know, like a lot of people don't know how to throw a safe event or have something, you know, that's safe for them, and just have everyone there, and also like have everything set up in like a whole party. So it's really just
none of the kids realize that it's like with us. Like I have this one kid that's like volunteering with us and like learning a lot of different things, and he's like, okay, like this is all the fun part. You're doing other stuff secretly. What are you doing? And I'm like, insurance, permits. I have to go talk with security. I have to go do negotiations. I have to go make the marketing. I have to go sit down hours and hours and hours, like doing all these like proposals, trying to get people to like, so we're not paying out of pocket. They can be able to invest, and they can be able to like, it's just a number of different things that is like the boring stuff that I do. That is one of the biggest things that these kids don't realize that goes into it. And what I hate to say this, but like I have been very hands-on with a lot of different things in my life, with like, for example, like plumbing and like woodworking and doing like a lot of this
really
stuff.
like
Usually a lot of these people, like you can go to college for this stuff, but it's very different when you're like doing this in the field. And I dropped out of college. The only reason why I went to college was to go get a dream job, and my dream job came and found me. And so I was like, hell yeah. And so I was able to like, I was able to drop all of that. And ever since then, I've been working in the industry and it's a different feel, like working in the industry that you've been like training for. But like, I've been doing this for like the last like 9 years. It's like, no, it's about 9 years I've been doing this. And so it's just been a different feel. And
yeah,
so,
once you're like in it and like really see,
I've been learning a lot more about different cities and different areas too.
Yeah.
I've toured everywhere, but it's very different doing your own stuff in different cities.
Exactly.
Idaho,
yeah.
We sold like 4,000, 5,000 tickets up there, but that's because there's nothing to do in the potato lands of like Idaho versus like over here. And over here, it's like, it's almost
an up and coming scene.
It's up and coming, but it's ghetto.
So
we have like a lot of like that, like, I don't know, dude. It's just like.
Do you think that turns off like bigger events that could be happening because of that
all the time.
scene? Yeah,
all the time.
Because people
Reminder, the rapper DaBaby has performed in this city, and then his venue got shot up within the first song. He left.
Oh, he was here?
Yes, like years ago.
Yeah.
And right when he was like on his come up with like his like, right when the labels and all social media was like grabbing him and like blowing him up, he ended up doing a show over here at it. I'm not going to say the venue because I like this venue, but he went to that venue, and the first song that he did, the venue ended up getting shot up. Nobody died, but it's like that type of culture where it's like every event, even with like the commercial artists, are getting like that type of like attitude and that type of like danger pointed at them too. And they just go and spread the word. They go back home with their label and with their friends and all the celebrities, and they're like, don't go over here. So that's why I like a lot of bad media on Albuquerque. Well, I like what Danny from Revel has done, because with his venue, it's the bigger commercial artists that we all like Machine Gun Kelly, or like, I don't know what your favorite music artists that are like blowing up right now, or that are rappers. Yeah. Mostly a lot of these radio artists that you're hearing can sell about 3,000 to 5,000 tickets. And we don't have that bridge gap over here in New Mexico. That's why all these tours avoid us. They were, for years, they were going to Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Texas, and then we're right in the middle of that. It's like, save gas money, come here. Like, come through here and make some more money. But we only had the option of either 1,000 ticket sales or 15,000 at Isleta. And that's like Pitbull, that's like Post Malone, that's like all those, like Taylor Swift. Like, and then
there's no in between. Yeah.
There's no in between. And so some of these music artists that are on the radio are losing out on money going to a smaller venue that is over here. And so they would always skip us. And so now that Revel exists, it's now allowed a lot more artists to kind of not be at like Isleta and Elred, but like have a middle ground. Like, for example, Shaquille.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal was just here. I was just hanging out with him, interviewing him, like asking questions, just like having fun, and legitimately like it was just a different experience. And having
a big enough crowd to do something like that, but also having that like, small connection with the intimate like artist.
Yeah, you know? 3,000 to 5,000 is perfect range for like artists like. That's a bad comparison. Who is a good one? I don't know. There's just like a lot of like, I was gonna say like Billie Eilish, but the last time I worked with like Billie Eilish, it was like over in Salt Lake City, and that was like years ago. And now she can't even Now she's like over in like the arena spectrum.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
like now she
yeah,
can't.
No, she's not. I don't. Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm trying to. I don't know, but like that, it's opened up the door. Like Black Bear can come down here and like do that venue.
A lot of big artists that a lot of people know for sure. So getting back into this like music thing. So so obviously a lot of people are going more to the parties and less to even like the bigger artists. Yeah, even the bigger artists, it's hard to sell those tickets. So what is from your perspective and from your knowledge of, you've been doing this for a while now, what is some advice that you'd give to, like, right now in this age in Albuquerque, how do artists benefit and what do artists do in the show business as of now to really like push their career forward and be able to work with people to really get those ticket sales?
Stop looking at yourself as a music artist. One of the biggest mistakes that I keep seeing is that, for example, Nike doesn't be like, oh, we're Nike. Nike is a business. Nike is a full-fledged like operational like business and LLC. A lot of these artists forget that they are a product. You can be creative and do all your stuff, but if you want fame, you're going to have to go sign with commercial groups that are going to market you and distribute you professionally and commercially throughout the whole entire nation or throughout your community. Look at like groups that we see. Like if I'm going down the highway, I see billboards for all these like lawyer companies and all these like restaurants and all these stuff. Like you have to market yourself, and they're too tunnel vision.
There's more artists up there.
Yeah, well, they're too tunnel vision into seeing like, oh, I got to put my music onto a platform, and then that's how I get like to where I want to go. And it's like, no, like you have to go treat yourself like a real business. You have to go spend some real money into actually like marketing. You have to go do some stuff. You have to kind of build yourself, and then when you actually do get some of the opportunities, and then when you're getting money coming back, for example, say you get booked like as an opener for like a tour that's coming through, and they give you like $2,000, and that's your first time ever getting $2,000. You're going to get eaten alive by the IRS if you don't know how to handle that. If you're like just like doing all like a lot of these artists just don't know, and so it's one of those things. You gotta invest
it back into yourself, and then
it's not even like the invest. It's just like you need to sit down and treat yourself like a business instead of just like this. I just make music. Like a sandwich shop doesn't just sit down and just like I just make sandwiches. Like they have to go. They have several different people managing operations. They have certain people that are running the till. They have certain people that are running like different. It's just there's a whole picture of operations that you need to do, and a lot of them leave out everything. They only look at like one or two things, and those are like the sexiest things that. About music artists is performing, making music, being in the studio, hanging out with women. Like that's what they look at, and they're not realizing that they're falling into the trap of like there's a lot more. Like that's what they want you to see, and that's what they market, and that's the product. Yeah. And so there's more to that.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's like great advice, because that is hard. No, it's like really.
Well, that's with anything too. Like look at some of the media groups. Like I'm not going to use you as an example. Let's say, like for example, there's other groups that I'm seeing. K9 Media. K9 Media is a well-rounded group where they're not only just doing certain content for themselves, but they're also doing stuff with other businesses. They're kind of expanding it. That's how I came across them, was through seeing other local businesses co-marketing and doing like these like marketing campaigns with them, and that's how I came across their platform. And then I realized that they were actually for entertainment. They weren't just something that did stuff with local businesses. A lot of their structure is mostly just for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, they do a lot.
And so like I didn't realize that, and they're just such a well-rounded group where they're hitting several different groups and demographics and markets, like that it's making them kind of expand a little bit more. And I don't know why artists don't see that, or me, or it just goes over their head. So
it's hard. It's like you really gotta step into that different mindset of like, and also step into like legality of everything, and thinking about like who can you collaborate with, and what will like affect your image in a good way and what won't. And
a lot of the big thing too is that you do not need a manager. Oh my God, the amount of artists that are like, I need a manager to do it's like, why would you want somebody to manage if you don't know how it works? You got to know how the system works. My favorite artist that I like to like, that I've learned so much from is Logic. Logic, knows everything about everything. And I'm talking about like when he does a show, it's so detailed where he comes behind like the board of like where the engineers are like rigging up all of the lighting and doing all the like the engineering and the programming, and he's sitting there and he knows how to program too. He knows how to do everything from like the start to the finish. He knows exactly where his dollar is going. He knows where to put it. He knows how it works. You need to understand the ingredients of how to manage these operations if you want to move forward, if you want to succeed. And it's just, that's not where the emphasis is. The emphasis is like, I need music and on Spotify, and then get like some girl twerking in the background, and then maybe I'll get some views. And it's like, oh God.
You gotta like, you gotta like trust a bunch of
I wish they had like college courses on this, and because the entertainment industry is one of the biggest, like, I like to challenge and argue the fact that one of our biggest exports out of America is mostly entertainment and media and just like content. And we like pump out music artists left and right. Look at Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny was already doing a lot of crazy stuff, but like when he came to America and was doing all the South by Southwest stuff, like that's when like he blew up in American culture. A lot of artists from all over the world. And that's what I like about this day and age right now, is that COVID kind of forced us to kind of like get a little bit more addicted to our phone, and we're getting a lot more content that is a lot more creative, and we're seeing so artists that are from on the other end of the world that we don't even speak their language, but they're blowing up so well over here. I see.
Because there's so many consumers here too. It's like the biggest consumer. Like everyone's consuming so much media every day, and just like commenting and liking. You know how many
white girls come up to my DJ board with my DJs, and then they're like, "Can you put on Teti me pregunto?" And I'm like, "The Bad Bunny's out." Like they don't know. Like they just. I like where we're at right now. This is like one of the best times to live in, because it's so easy to reach everybody. Like in this day and age of communication, it's just, you can get anybody you want in the whole entire world. You can put who you are in front of them and see and show your like talent, show your content. Like it's just so underutilized, and that's what I'm going to be focusing in on this year, is not only bringing more opportunities, but kind of, instead of giving these artists like a fish, I'm going to teach them to fish, so they can be able to kind of do this on their own. Because the problem is that it's not good to have one brand or one company over here just monopolizing everything and just being the only thing out, because everybody's going to be burnt out after a while. They're going to be like, again. Like we gotta have variety.
That's the thing. Like you gotta like establish that and like keep consistency as well too.
The consistency is a big thing, but also having that variety here in New Mexico too, with like artists and other brands blowing up. You go to Walmart because they have a variety of everything. You don't have just one gallon of milk, you have 50. You have different options, you have different flavors and everything. That's why there's so much value in going to Walmart than there is to going to a mom and pop shop that is like, or like a little tienda, or one of those like type of things where they just don't have very many options. And it's like, that's the truth. That's how society runs. That's how we've been doing that for years and years and years. And so
so on an ending note, you kind of already answered my question already, but so we're in this world of this, all these people are getting into this party scene, and the artists everyone's collaborating a little bit more, and it's growing a lot. So going back to you and what you're doing, what is your goal with Riot, and what are you really trying to do with this?
Every 6 months is a game changer, where I don't like sitting still. I don't like sitting down and just being static with like what we have going on, because I just like the people that I've surrounded myself with for many years in this industry, is that none of these people are static. None of these people do the same thing over and over and over again. I mean, Kanye doesn't pump out the same type of song every single album. Like he doesn't. He dropped like a freaking gospel like album, and then now he's going back to like all his craziness. It's one of those things where it's like, right now we're at a point where we've gotten a little bit too comfortable, because we've had to go a little bit longer into jump starting this area, because it's hard. This area hasn't seen anything like us before, so it's been kind of like, we don't trust you. And then now that we've gained everybody's trust, nobody goes to anywhere else. So we always sell out all of our stuff, because it's just been like that. So I'm like, there's no value in just doing just parties. So now my goal is to try to bring bigger opportunities and trying to make this one of the capitals for a lot of underground music or trying to do that. And it takes, a lot of people don't realize how much power they have when it comes to bringing in talents and bringing in opportunities. It is so easy to put Albuquerque on the map. Yeah. We're already on the map for a lot of different things, but I mean, like, we're on the map for like DUIs and like
I don't know if we want to be known for all that.
Like Breaking Bad, like there's
everyone's like, oh yeah, Breaking Bad.
No, it's like, why?
There's so much more going on.
We have it's like we have one of the most amazing things in the whole entire world that literally in September or October every year the whole world tries to come to New Mexico to witness. We are here with the International Balloon Fiesta. Yeah. We're here with like the first ever type of like Burning Man. Yeah. Like people know Burning Man in like the deserts of like Vegas and shit like that, but we have Zozobra, which is like, that's where it came from. Yeah. Like that's where like legitimately we have so much culture and so much stuff here that is completely untapped. And it's like we're gonna shine a light on that, and I'm gonna start kind of focusing in. And artists, if you are watching this, if you are seeing this, if you are coming across my brand for the first time, or if you've seen me a million times and are annoyed as hell about me and my brand, I want you to hit me up. If you guys need anything, we offer the best resources. We offer lighting, sound, flame cannons. We own it all. We've been trying our best to try to facilitate the most opportunities and get our name out there to try to bring in not only like bridging the gap between talent and audiences. And so I feel like we've been in an area right now where we've been doing pretty good, and it's time to kind of grow it a little bit harder, throw some gas on the fire and see what happens.
Pushing.
So
Keep pushing it. Yeah, well, bro. That's it. I think you've really covered everything. That's like,
thank you.
That's really what we gotta do, though. Honestly, like we've been pushing this, we've been going with it, and it's just like it's at a really big growing point right now. Like I feel like there's gonna be a really big explosion. It's scary because you don't know what's gonna happen, but
the problem is that this hasn't. I don't want to say that this has not been done over here. Yeah. It's been a long time since it's happened. Yeah. And we're now you and me are setting the standard for what is going to get consumed. Mm-hmm. Every artist that is here in New Mexico, that is watching this and is making content and is doing all this, you are setting the standard for what Albuquerque is going to consume. So you need to go 110%. I see a lot of, I spoke with a music artist last night, DJ duo, and I was like, why would you spend thousands of dollars in making a song but then go on to Instagram and not spend that same amount of momentum and money into also the promotion?
Keep going.
Like, why would you put hundreds of hours into this but not into that? And so it's like, it goes hand in hand, and that's what needs to be done. And so that's what we're trying to do and kind of focus on. And I know somebody is going to come out of here.
Bring it into the commercial level. We're bringing it into that commercial level.
Because when was the last time we had like another, like, I don't know, Demi Lovato or like somebody come out of New Mexico? Nope. It's like
did Macklemore come from here?
Yeah, Macklemore went to college here in Santa Fe. Yeah. And he did the art school, and then he always like I don't know when he's gonna come back, but like legitimately he has a lot of ties over here. Yeah. And it's so funny seeing like so many of the connections that people have here. And this is one of the railroad like crossing areas for like the movie industry. We have the movie industry, every film, commercial, every movie, a lot of stuff is coming here.
The commercial world is gonna
even like stuff like this is like an untapped resource that a lot of artists and a lot of like Studio 509 is like amazing.
Yes.
And so
they kill it.
So I like bringing artists and like resources here and like bringing, and there's so many different other resources here in New Mexico that are just so untapped.
Yeah, there's a lot of resources. Yeah, all artists, creatives, everyone, tap in. We're going up. All right. For sure. Well, thank you, bro. I appreciate having you.
Freaking love you.
And so, guys, thank you again for watching. Tap in with us. Tap in with Danny. Tap in with me. We're going up. If you see anyone on the show, tap in with them. We're really making some good connections here. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.